Hi, welcome. This is Garanda here. In the last video, we looked at how to authenticate user using Google Sign-in. And in this video, we are looking at how to authenticate users with the phone authentication with Firebase. So, if this is your first time in watching this channel, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss any new update. So let's get started. Okay, now to get started, we are going to begin by creating the handlers for authentication. That is the phone authentication, which will include send OTP and verify OTP. So that one we are going to create them in the provider. That is the authentication providers. So we are going to go to our base authentication provider. This is where we are going to create the method that will handle the send OTP and verify OTP. So here we are going to say to create the method, which is going to be future. It is going to return a user. Okay, and for this case, you are going to say send. Okay, it's not going to return a user. It's going to be void. In fact, it's void. So this is going to be send OTP. Okay. And also now send OTP, it is going to have the following variables. It's going to have the phone number, which is a string, the phone number that we are sending to. It's also going to have the phone authentication verified, phone verification complete. That is phone verification completed. It's also going to have the phone verification failed. Now these are callbacks. These are callbacks that are going to be called in case of events when the phone verification has failed and phone verification has completed. It will have the event for handling the phone code sent. It's also have the one for auto retrieval handler, that is for phone code auto retrieval timeout. This we are just going to call it timeout. To have the duration, that is the duration timeout. Okay, the duration we are just going to call it timeout. And now for this, the one which you call timeout, the phone code auto retrieval timeout. For this, we can just call it auto retrieval timeout. And lastly, we are going to have the integer, that is the code that we shall pass in case we are sending the OTP to the user. So this is going to be force resend token. Okay, so those are the properties that we can pass. And the other one is going to be future, is going to be verify authentication or verify phone number. This is future. And now this is going to return a user and is going to be verify OTP or verify phone number. And we are going to pass the verification code, which is a string, verification ID. We are going to pass the SMS code itself that was sent, SMS code. So that is it. So we can now implement these methods. So what we are going to do, we are going to come to the provider, the phone authentication provider, and override these methods. And this is where we are going to do it from. So what you are going to do is first of all, you are going to make these variables required: the phone, the timeout, and the verification completed. These are required, all of them. Okay, so we can do the same here by putting a required ban on them, that is. So now we can now do the handling. So here we are going to return Firebase auth dot verify phone number, and we are going to pass these methods. One, the verification completed. So here we are going to pass the phone verification completed. This is phone verification failed. We are going to also pass the phone code sent. We shall also pass the auto retrieval timeout. And lastly, we can pass the timeout, which is the duration. The timeout now, this is a duration to wait for the code, the maximum time to wait for the code before making the auto retrieval. Okay, and now we can put in the false resend token. Okay, it means that when we are resending the code to the user, we shall use this very method, and we shall pass in the phone resend token that will be given to us on phone code sent. Okay, so that is it. Now we can also do the verify phone number method. So within verify phone number method, what you are going to do, we are going to create the auth credential. This is going to be authentication. Oh, it's auth credential. Credential is going to be phone auth credential. Okay, this is phone auth provider credential, and we are going to pass the verification ID and the SMS code so that they can generate for us the credential. Okay, so we are now going to return Firebase auth dot sign in with credential, okay, which is the credential that we created, and then we shall wait for that value to be out, and we shall return to the user, that is value dot user. So that is the method that we can use. And now these are verification ID and SMS code. All these are required. They are variables. So also we can do the same to here. Can make them required. Okay. So that is it. Maybe one last thing that we may need to do is first is to also create a method that maybe will allow us to sign in with credential, because it will be needed. So what we are going to do, we are going to say future return a user sign in with credential, and we are going to pass the auth credential. Okay, so we can come here, override the method, and then for that case we can just copy this one, the Firebase sign in with credential, and return it to the user, to the caller. So that's what we can do. So we can now copy these functions, the send OTP, verify phone number, and sign in with credential, and bring them within the repository here. So you can bring them here, and what you can do now, we can direct our calls to the authentication provider, that is authprovider.send OTP. That's it. We can do the same for verify phone. We shall direct the request to authentication provider to verify phone number. for us. We can now also do the same for sign-in and credential, that is authentication provider dot verify, so not verify, sign in with credential. So that's set. Once we have that, we can now come back to our SignInCubit. Okay, our SignInCubit, and now we can implement these methods. So before implementing the send OTP, we need to first of all listen to phone number entered. That is a function that is going to be handling the phone number or the entry on change of the phone number. That is going to be void phone number changed, and this is going to, we are going to provide with the phone itself. And here we are just going to emit state. We are going to update our state with the new phone number that has come in to be state dot copy with phone number. We are just going to pass the phone that has come. We can do the same for country in case of a change in country code. So we shall say void country code or country changed on country changed. So this is going to be okay, country change. So this way we're going to just pass the country itself, and now we can emit the state with a new state, that is state dot emit dot state copy with. We are going to pass the country with a new country. So that is what we can do here. So now we can now create those methods that are going to handle the authentication. Now the method is going to be void send OTP. The send OTP, within the send OTP method, now here we can now handle that. First of all, we are going to get the phone number itself, string phone number, and now this phone number we can get it from the user. Okay, we can get it from the state. It is going to be state dot phone number. This phone number, we want to filter it, remove all the unnecessary characters, like the first zero, which users can usually put, at the beginning of the phone number, that is 07 something or 03 something. So that we are going to remove them, and also concatenate it with the country code. So what you are going to do, you are going to say phone number. Okay, if phone number dot is not empty, and phone number character that we want the character at, that is the first character. Okay, we can just get the first character like this. The first character is equal to 0. If the first character is equal to 0, okay, what we are going to do here, okay, let's try to optimize this. Okay, so what we are going to do here, we are now going to say phone number will be equal to phone number dot substring. We are going to start from 1 for this case. In case it has a 0, we shall remove the 0 by starting from 1. Okay, so first actually this is a string, and we can't compare a string with an integer. So actually this one should be a 0 in a string format, so we can compare it that way. So that is it. Okay, so here now we can bring in the country code, and we are going to say final, this is a final phone number string, phone number text or txt is going to be state dot country. Okay, at this state we should assume that the country is never null. State dot country dot code. Okay, state dot country dot code. Okay, in case it's null, here we are going to use, in case it's null, we can now provide, we shall assume that the user maybe didn't select the country, so here we are just going to use 256. We shall assume that it is 256. Okay, we shall assume that the country code is 256, and we shall add it to our phone number. Okay, so that is it. So now we can say, the OTP by saying authentication repository dot send. Actually, this is going to be await, and you can pass the async here. Okay, and now maximum duration time, we are going to wait for duration time. We are going to wait for 30 seconds. So seconds, you're going to wait for 30 seconds, and this is a constant duration. This is phone number text, that is what we are passing here. The phone verification DDD. Now this is a callback, so we are going to create this this callback here, and we shall say void phone verification complete, phone verification complete, phone verification complete, completed. And now this is going to give us auth credential, credential. Okay, so the other is going to be the phone verification failed, phone verification failed, phone verification failed. And now for phone verification failed, we are going to have the error itself. We are going to have the error. This is string error. Okay, it's not a subtype of function Firebase auth exception. So this is Firebase auth exception. Okay, exception. And we are going also to have void phone code sent, the callback. With the phone code sent, we shall have the string verification ID, and we are going also to have the integer, that is false resend token. Okay, false resend token. And lastly, we can have the auto retriever timeout. Void auto retriever timeout is in function of string void, that is auto retriever timeout, and this is going to be a string verification ID. Okay, this is auto retrieval timeout. Let me see. Yeah, it will give us the verification ID. This is verification ID. So now we can begin by handling the phone verification completed. So here what you are going to do, you are going to get the user, and now this user we are going to get here, we are going to get the user from by signing in with credential, that is await authentication repository, sign in with credential. Okay, and we shall pass that credential. Okay, so we shall now check if user is not equal to null. If user is not equal to null, okay, we shall now emit the state, emit state dot copy with, okay, and the status is going to be sign in status dot verification success, OTP verification success. Okay, at this point okay, at this point we can now save this user to the database. We can say save user to database at this point. Okay, or okay, we can save user to database at that point. Now we can handle the else part. Okay, before the else part, okay, after saving the user to database, which you are going to handle later, maybe in the next video, we can now turn the authentication status to authenticated. Okay, and now we can wrap this into a try and catch block so that we can get any error which happens during the sign in with credential. We can get it, and now we can handle that error by putting it to state, that is exception, and we can put the error itself as e.toString. So we can now come to authentication failed. Now with authentication failed, what we are going to do, okay, first of all, this very error, in case okay, what we can also do is okay, we can just leave it that. Or what we can do now on authentication failed, we can just emit this error to the user so that the user can know what happened. Okay, can emit the error, and we are going to say exception, and for this case the exception is going to be the exception dot stack trace dot to string. So that is what we are going to give out to the user. Okay, now the one which you need also to handle is now the phone code sent method, or whereby here we are just going to update the state, and we are going to update the state with the verification ID, and now this is going to be state dot copy with, okay, verification ID. We are going to pass the verification ID, and now the first resend token is just going to be the very first resend token, and now here you shall change the status to OTP sent, the sign in status, and now this is going to be OTP sent, So that is what we can have. Now for the auto retrieval verification timeout, we are going to check if the verification ID is not equal to null. So we shall say if, okay, without wasting time, we are just going to update state You can update it with the new verification ID, okay, and nothing else. So that is it. So lastly, we need to handle the verify phone number. The verify phone number. Now with verify phone number, what we are going to do is verify phone number. What we are going to do, we are going also to have the function that will handle the OTP change, and this is going to provide us with the OTP that the user has entered, and we are going to emit state with copy with OTP code. Oh, I think I didn't handle that. We can go to our sign in state. We see we have OTP somewhere. No? Okay, we can add it there. This is OTP. And now this is going to be this dot OTP. Can copy with, also this is string OTP. So this is going to be OTP this dot OTP. So that is it. So we can now come into SignInCubit, and now here we shall update it with the new OTP, that is OTP. So now we can have the function that is verifying state, that is void, and that is verifying phone number, that is void verify phone number. And so here we are just going to say user is going to be authentication, okay, await authentication repository dot verify phone number. And now here we can pass in the state dot verification ID. Okay, you can also pass state dot OTP. And we shall also wrap this into try and catch block. So this is try and catch block. So in case of an error, we can just come and copy this very handling and bring it here. Okay, so now if the user is not null, the very state is going to happen like the way it is on verification complete. So we are just going to come here and take it, bring it here. So that is it. Okay, this is actually OTP verification fail. Okay, so that is what we need to do. So now we can now go to our auth views, that is the phone auth view, and here where there is on country code selected, that is on change, we are now going to say context dot read. Okay, we are going to read the SignInCubit, and here we are going to pass that is country code changed. That is what you are going to pass, and we are going to pass a new country code, a new country with the dial code from the country dot dial code Our code is going to be country.code, and lastly, name is going to be country.name. Then the flag thingy, okay, for that one you can just keep it because it's not so important. Okay, so that is for on country code selected. Okay, just one thing, let me try to verify because I think this send OTP. This is dial code. Okay, this was dial code. The send OTP, it was dial code, not code. Okay, so now we can come back, and now for the phone number itself, that is the phone number itself, the phone number view, we can now say on change. Here it will be on change. This is going to provide us with the value, and now we shall say context dot read, and this is SignInCubit dot phone changed, phone number changed, and you can now pass the value. Okay, and now within the verify OTP, for the verify OTP, now what we are going to do, we are going to come on the verify OTP screen. Now the verify OTP screen, that is the verify OTP screen. First of all, where there is build message here, where there is the message, the phone number here, we are going to replace it with the okay, we are going to wrap this into a builder. We are going to wrap this with a builder, that is a builder, and this is going to be a block builder. The block builder that we are wrapping is SignInCubit and sign-in state. Sign-in state. Okay. Here now we are no longer returning a rich text, we are returning a builder. And now here it is going to be state that. Okay, so now here this phone number, now we are just going to pass. We are going to pass the phone number and the country code and the phone number. That is state dot country dot dial code. Okay. The dial code. And also we are going to pass the phone number, that is state dot phone number. Okay. Enter the verification code that was sent to Didi. Okay, so that is what you are going to do. And we can come here on here where there is the code on code change. Here we are going to now to say what you can say now. We can say that context, we can now update the OTP, that is context read SignInCubit dot for this case we are going to go to OTP change, and now we are going to pass the code. Actually, for this case, these ones you can just put them here. Okay, so that is it. That's what we need to do, and we need to come to verify button, the continue button, this the button on the verify side, and we emit the verify event. This is submit button. Now here on top, this is going to be context.read SignInCubit dot, that is a verify phone number. We can copy this. Now that's what we need to do here. And now last we can go to phone auth view, where we're emitting the sign in with Google. Now here we can emit to sign to send OTP. Send OTP. Okay, send OTP. Now we need to go to our main screen, that is the sign-in screen, and we control the movement of these tabs, because we don't want the user to navigate within the tabs herself or himself. So we are going to control that by disabling the navigation. So that is the physics, and we are going to use the never scroll physics. Never scrollable scroll physics. So this is a constant. Okay, and also now we can handle the exception is already handled. Google authenticated is handled, so we can now also implement the one for OTP sent, and OTP verify. So this is OTP sent, and here we are going to put OTP sent, OTP sent, and now this is going to be OTP verification success. So this is OTP verified successfully. Okay, the localization of the thing can happen later, but for now we just need to have it at that level. So in case there is an exception, is already handled, and that's what we need right now. So we are now going to test our code and see if it is working. Let's update our state, our screen a little bit. We need to restart. Okay, so let's see, can we navigate in between? Nothing, we can't navigate. So what we are going to do, so now we can test. Okay, first of all, we are going to test with let me say we can test with the phone number. Now this phone number is going to be, let me say, okay, we can use the one which we use on our Firebase, that is bookmate. Okay, it was 779 779. I think let me see. Okay, it's not opening. So what you are going to do, you are going to use 779 my number 3480, and now we can send. Supposed to dispatch the send OTP. send OTP DDD null check used on a null value. Okay, this is let me see. SignInCubit 60, line 60. Let me see. Line 60. Oh, the country. Actually, now this is the country stuff which is having the issue, because we didn't select any country, so that's why it's having that error. Okay, so what we are going to do, in case we didn't select any country, it means that the user just continue with the default country, which is 256. Okay. And now, okay, for this case, let's just look for Uganda. Okay, so now we can continue. Send OTP. So it is doing the other reCAPTCHA verification, which I told you. So it opens the browser, verifies if this device is not a robot. Otherwise, it will use the SafeNet method to verify the device. Okay, so that is the reason why we included the browser thing, the browser dependency within the phone Android. Oh, it returned null, ignoring because this value was null. SMS verification request failed, unknown state, invalid format. Oh, I think they have not verified the phone. Okay, the code was not sent. Let me see what we have here. Print phone number text. Okay, so let's try it and we see. Oh, actually we are just having plus 256. Oh, so the problem is just arising from here. This was supposed to be in two brackets. That's how we were supposed to handle it. Okay, so that's where the issue was coming from. So now we can send again. It's checking, retrieving the SafeNet token. Okay, let's check. Still it wasn't sent. Let me see. As if there is an issue with the phone number. Okay, let's try to just output the phone number itself alone. Reload. The phone number is okay. Okay, the OTP was sent now. Okay, the OTP was sent and I should be getting it on the phone. So we now got it, and I think, oh, actually, so what was supposed to happen was if on sending the OTP, we're supposed to direct the user to the verify screen. So that is what we're supposed to do. So we can now go to sign in screen. Now here on OTP sent, just here down, what we are going to do, we are going to navigate to, we are going to say tab controller, we are going to tell our tab controller to animate to the second index. Tab controller dot animate to 1. Tab controller dot animate to and the index is going to be index 1. It's probably null. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. So what we are going to restart this. We are going to restart the process. Okay, so now we can now do that, and now this is going to be 779523480. The country, okay. So here what we are going to do, we are going to say continue. OTP sent, and now we have gone to the next screen. So this is what we are having. Now we are having the verify OTP. So here we can now put in the OTP, which is let me see, it is 115133. Okay, so now here we can now click to verify. Okay, and I've told us OTP verified successful, so which means authentication was complete. So in the next video we are going to see how we can combine the Google login and the phone login so that we can have one smooth flow of authentication. Then later we can now save this user data to database. And also the other part of resend OTP, I think, okay, in case you need to resend the OTP, you can just have that very method. The resend OTP is just going to call that very send button, okay, which is going to resend the OTP to the user. So what we can do is, let me just complete that before we close this. So copy this. Now we can go to resend button. On this resend button, we are going to call send OTP. Send OTP. Now the resend OTP is now going to get the first resend token and it's going to attach it with the within the send OTP, and it's going to return the user OTP to the user. So that is it. So that is it. In the next video, see you then.